Okay, we are here with, I'm always going to start with Firecracker alumni, but you're alumni, Oklahoma alumni. Like you come from so many different places, Lauren, but
But I
we've
come
got
from the original Firecrackers, you
the
feel me?
original Firecrackers. That's a profound statement that I hear a lot. There's a certain pride in that. Like, I was a firecracker before there was a whole
Oh, yes.
right?
I say that every time. I'm like, you guys know firecrackers? They're like, oh, yeah, yeah, we know firecrackers. We know. And I'm like, no, no, no. Do you know like the firecrackers?
Well,
How's
I
that?
guess if you know about the red shorts and the short championship uniforms and
Come
the
on.
still showing you're one of the original firecrackers,
The
right?
McDonald's. Yeah, the McDonald's uniform.
So, Lauren Chamberlain, I wanted to catch up with you a little bit, and you are a busy woman, and obviously, well, hopefully, you know how proud we are of you, and you're just so busy, and you've
Thanks.
grown so much more than outside of just softball. So, I wanted to catch up with you a little bit. You sent me a video last week, and then you posted it yesterday in your social media about you've got a pretty cool project coming up with the MLB, right? So, tell me a
Yes.
little bit. It's called Stacked.
Yes, it's called Stacked.
What is
So MLB reached out. They are doing a huge kind of brand overhaul of basically putting their players' personalities out there. I think MLB was lacking a little bit in that department of really showcasing their athletes and empowering them to show their style, their personalities. They weren't really doing that too much. So I think with players being a little bit upset about not getting out there, paired with some really like hungry, awesome, badass young professionals that wanted to like kind of switch the scene up at MLB. You've got like a huge new platform called MLB Originals. So Stacked is one of, I think, 4 shows, but it airs on YouTube. It's 2.35 million subscribers already on MLB's YouTube.
so
And
they're
I'm the
entering
host of a show. It's crazy.
they're entering the social media space, so right. So
Yes.
that's new for them. Well, so
Yes.
what is it exactly now? Is it a game show? It's a what are you
It's
doing?
a personality show. So it's basically, if you think of Jenga, it's, we can't really say Jenga, but it's stacking blocks. And so they're in a pressure cooker situation where they're playing that game by themselves. And I'm asking them questions. So they're answering some weird questions, some serious questions, all kind of mixed in while they're trying to keep the tower from falling over. And so we're keeping account as this is happening. And then throughout the season, you're trying to come in and beat so-and-so's score. And then you want to be the champion of Stacked.
So has it been pretty fun to shoot so far?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. These guys are, it's so funny to see these guys come in so nervous. And I'm like, what are you nervous for? Like, you don't have to be nervous. I'm nervous. Like, I don't understand. But then to see them kind of like their walls get broken down, it's not, they're not doing the normal interview. They're kind of like, oh, this is fun. Like, this is really chill. So I think the mix of my personality that's not, I mean, I'm just trying to have a good conversation and I can carry my weight in the conversation, which I think is pretty cool. So you end up having really, really good content.
How did you get involved with Stack? Did somebody reach out to you? Like how
Yeah, so I took a position as a youth ambassador with MLB, and that opened up some doors to having conversations with higher ups. Kim, she's the highest ranked woman at MLB. She's amazing, incredible woman. And she reached out and said, hey, we think you would be perfect for this hosting gig. Can I pass you on to the producer? Can he call you today? And I was like, sure. And he called and we went through the audition process. It was like the fastest, this whole thing has been just like the fastest process that I've ever been a part of. Kind of similar to like a World Series where you're like, okay, that flew by. I don't really know what happened, but I'm on the other side of it.
So are you comfortable with it right away? Because you've got a great social media pocket. You've got a pretty broad audience, but I also know you that sometimes when things get exciting, it can get a little anxious, it can get a little nervous, it can get a little. So how are you through this whole process, and like your first shoot or anything like that? Has all been pretty easy going?
No, it wasn't easy at first. This was a whole new experience. And I think I was just having this conversation the other day. I've always been on the other side of the camera being asked the questions. So it was pretty easy. I always knew what I was going to answer. The questions are all pretty much the same. So I felt like I was like, okay, I'm pretty versed in this. This was like, okay, it's your show. So I was walking into a situation where I knew it was so important for the show to hit. It was their first big push. People got hired based on this idea. And so they're asking me, they're putting the ball in my court to carry out a vision, which was pretty intimidating. But I know I've been doing that in softball for a long time. Like I've been delivering the goods when the show, when the lights turn on, when the pressure's on, the cameras are on, I always show up. So I think took a little bit of convincing myself that I'm built for it. But it was pretty intimidating to walk in on a set that you're like, I have zero experience being a host. and then just pulling it out of the hat and doing it. So it
And
was
then
cool.
afterwards felt pretty great.
Oh my God, it was like a high I've never experienced. I called my mom, I called my dad, I kind of cried. I was like, this is just like the coolest experience when you really think like, when there's a little bit, like, so think your headspace is right here. When there's like a little sliver of like, I might mess this up, you know what I mean? Like I might not kill this. And then you do it, you're just like, damn, I just went through that desert. You know what I mean? Like I just went through that like crazy moment and I came out on the other side and I freaking got it done. It's so rewarding.
That's the healthy part of fear, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. I had a really cool conversation with my dad about when people get into those pressure cooker situations and using those feelings and using like them to your advantage, which I thought was such a cool way to look at it, because people get in those situations and they fold, or they use all that information, like, you know, all those feelings and the anxiety and the heart pumping, and they propel forward. So I thought that was kind of cool to think about, that if you're born for it, you can do it.
Have you ever found that the ability to deliver in the moment is a great thing to have, but sometimes it lacks the ability to prepare for it? You know, so for myself, it's all that I envy all the people that can see ahead of time. They create the structure, they create the plan
Yes.
all
Yep.
the way through. I
It's
don't
not
like
easy for us.
just turn the camera on and it'll happen, because that's not really what a producer wants to hear or a director wants to
Right. Well,
hear.
and the first night, the walkthroughs were pretty interesting because they weren't going well at all. I mean, it was so uncomfortable. We were all on a call yesterday, kind of going through our highs and lows of the experience. And the producer had messaged me on this side and was like, one of my highs was like you pulling it off. Like, honestly, like going through the first couple run throughs and then seeing you just shine, like when it came to like time. Because I'm not, like you said, I'm not a big practicer. Like I'm not a big tryout person. I'm like a big, like, you want me on your team, I promise. You know what I mean? Like you want me on your team when it comes down to
Just
it.
give me a shot, trust me.
Give me like the adrenaline of a game. Give me fans. Give me a crowd. Like give me the big moment. I'd rather go through that and pull something out. I've always been that way.
So Lauren, I mean, I got to know you back when, you know, watching you deliver in these moments and develop your athletic persona and personality.
Yeah.
You know, our sport has grown so much, and, you know, we have a pretty wide audience right now. And I always encourage our players to dig deeper than just the physical aspects of the game. So for example, we have a Firecracker softball school that we just released. And the very first lesson was about standing in front of the mirror and capturing your self-image. And I have them do it with their bat and to capture that, who is that person as a player, because you know that there's a lot of vulnerability in softball. And I feel, from my experience, when I put someone in front of the mirror for the first time, a young lady, she's usually not comfortable with that person, because as a hitter, you're usually hearing what you did wrong when you don't hit the ball well. And so starting with that self-image, and then I just feel like in my heart, the love that I have for everyone, that I want them to be happy. I want them to find that beautiful self in here, but you've got to know where you're vulnerable first.
Yeah.
And so starting with whoever you might be and the vulnerabilities that you might have as a person, whatever your flaws you think you have or whatever it is, you know, that there's hope for anybody and everybody, because you and I connect on this, like, happiness is beautiful, and there is something good for everyone to pull out of themselves. What would you say to our players about the importance of developing more than just their physical skills? And then also, how could that, even for someone that's interested, you know, a lot of young ladies like to take that phone and take pictures of themselves and get on Instagram. And so how could they take that to the next level, as far as like, what makes somebody interesting in social media? Is it the importance of staying organic, being true to yourself, not being phony, not being something else? Like, you know, so it's kind of a double question there. But mostly I want to get to the advice on developing their image and their own brand.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the first time I just had a flashback of like the first weekend that I was with the Firecrackers, and I was just scared. Like I felt just scared. Like I had a presence, which I'll ask you, like, if, you know, what you felt, like, what was your first impression? But it was a weekend that, like, I got kicked in the face a little bit. It was like just a very stressful time. But then on the other side of it, looking back, I'm like thinking of all just the growth from moments like that, and how I started to feel really beautiful because of Firecracker brand, like, honestly. And that you know, we would do those Worth photo shoots, and I think of, you know, you saying you put them in front of the mirror with their bat, and I just pictured, like, you know, me, Janelle, Jamie Sullivan, you know, we were all just like, you know, posing with our bats. And that was the first, I look back on them, I'm like, oh my God, these pictures are so funny, because we like really, like, were in it. We were so in it. But that really started like this strong, powerful feeling of like, we're badass and we are really good at softball. But the ponytails, we just had this whole brand thing down, like, and we didn't even know we were doing it at the time. I don't think anybody was even talking about what branding was, we were just, that was us. So I think it's important to, the whole look good, feel good, play good. I mean, it's powerful. It's not just getting on the field. It's really how you feel and how you see yourself. Because if I'm projecting myself, which we all are, we all project ourselves. And so if I'm projecting myself in that strong, powerful way, then you're going to respect me. You know what I mean? And not just for my athletic ability. You're going to respect me on the other side of softball when I'm walking into a set on MLB and I'm, there's guys everywhere, but I have to command, an MLB player across from me and really set the tone for the set. So it transcends, it really does transcend your physical ability. For social media, the second part of it, I would say the best situation I put myself in was that I never went away from who I truly was. It was always about my personality. It was always about it making people laugh. It started with Vine. And so I was just doing these little stupid clips in 6 seconds just to be funny and make people laugh. I always enjoyed making people laugh. So I've stayed pretty true and authentic from the jump. And I think that's important in social media. There's so many lookalikes. There's so many, people don't know themselves. So they tag along on somebody else and they try, and there's so many clones, honestly, in Instagram and that whole world. So I think what the world needs is a little bit more authenticity. And I think that you can't go wrong if you find your niche and you find out who you are and you really trust that. The way you project, people will buy it,
So if you sing from your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Why not? But why would you do it any other way? I don't understand that. I've never
heard you sing from your heart. Do you remember that?
Oh my God.
You were upstairs and you were singing.
Yeah, that was fun. That was good.
But see, but for me, it was authentic. And that to watch you, develop and grow in a space that is comfortable for you. It's a message
Yes.
I want everyone to understand. Some people have to have something in front of them. They just work better and they follow instructions, right? But the opportunity to be anything you want to be, and you hear this, right? You hear this so many times, but it's true. It really, really is true. So I want to be able to connect with you more often. I have a responsibility and we have a responsibility to the organization. We've incorporated the history, and the history, hopefully people know how important that is, how important the original Firecrackers are. We don't want to forget any piece of this whole thing.
Right.
There's so much in front of us right now, Lauren. So, we're proud of you. We're watching you all the time. Personally, for myself, I just explained to you earlier, I try to give you the space to be you, but I'm not going to be afraid to reach out to you because I and we are of service to our organization right now.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
we're going to put some things together, but most of all, I wanted to kind of get this thing out here right now because when will this stack launch? Because obviously we've got a delay in the season now. So what are we looking at?
Yeah. Here? So the good thing, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, is that baseball's on hold. So internet's taking over, right? So this was the time. I think it was perfect that we launched it now. So the platform launched officially yesterday. Quick Question is their first show that's on the actual platform right now. I'm going to be in 2 Mondays. So on the 27th is when we're set to air the first show. Yes. So it'll be I'm almost positive 11 a.m. on youtube.com/MLB.
Got it. Awesome. And then what else you got going? You got your website. Where else can people find you?
Yeah. LaurenChamberlain.com. You can see a whole lot of body, baby. You can see all the merch. I'm easily accessible. Any type of social media outlet that you find me on, I'm pretty good about getting back. So just doing my thing. Big cloud just floating around.
Good stuff. I love it. Well, thank you for your time. I love you a lot.
Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate you. Okay. And then we'll reach out to you again real soon. Okay.
Okay. Love y'all.
Take care. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.